Gotsky looking for that damage, finds him on the Diablo. Diablo forced it back out as their health drops low. The Immortal now is at 25%.
Back down, Yo on the Grey Man, give me the first ball. But is it ETC? No, that's Malthael up there. A triple.
Layla and Yu's in the back, catching 3 people on top of that, followed up by the APOC and the lurking on, catching 2, but this time on is going to be the first one.
Wow, did you see that mosh pit? 4-man mosh pit while on a conveyor belt. That was like a regular sushi.
There's the lead, catches him in the mud pit. Time trap does pop. Mosh pit goes out. Ruben's still in trouble. Pops to stay a while and listen, but it's not going to matter.
Here comes the Boros on the backside. The Visual gets thundered and then stunned. Oh my goodness! The combo!
Getting shrunk down, ETC getting killed. He becomes dog food for the Grey Man.
I didn't think they had a chance. I thought it was all over. We said all or nothing, and they got absolutely everything.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. It feels like it's been quite some time since we've had this opportunity to share this space together. But I'm Arrow. I'm going to be your caster tonight, and we've got a match from Division C East in Season 15. It's going to be a fun time, I expect. We've got ReGen Rebel versus ReGen Nebula, and of course, you know, the civil war, right, between the organization, two teams going head to head here, and what more could you hope for? So ReGen, let's see, I gotta make sure that I get them in the right order here, because it's been a while, so I'm a little out of practice. ReGen Nebula is currently sitting at 3rd place. Let's see if I get this right. Yep. So they're currently sitting at 3rd place in the division, and they're 1 point behind Brickhouse. Brickhouse holds the tiebreaker against them. So depending on how things go tonight, and then of course how things go for Brickhouse in their remaining games, then Nebula could pull ahead, get that 2nd spot, but maybe not. And ReGen Rebel, unfortunately, they're out. They've got 10 total points. Even if they scored a domination tonight and got all 3 points, they don't hold the tiebreaker against Council of War. So who knows? I mean, we've got Nebula is going to be looking to play a strong game here. They want to make sure they get as many points as they can, and then Rebel could go either way. They could look to play their normal comfortable game, or maybe we see some interesting stuff because they don't have anything left in the season, is my understanding. By the way, I looked at the number of matches left, and I believe that is the case. Anything I've said is incorrect. Blame somebody else. Blame somebody that's not here. We'll go with that. So give me 1 second here just to make sure that I've got the right names, because it looks like we have a couple people that were not on the top 5 on the list, at least for who was going to be playing. Go, we got one team. While I do that, let me go ahead and put up our map bans for the evening. Hey Taco, good to see you, buddy. Map bans here, we've got from ReGen Rebel, they banned out Sky Temple and Dragonshire. Nebula banned out Braxis Holdout, Anvil Sky Foundry, and our first map of the evening is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. It was selected by ReGen Rebel, and they actually got the coin flip in their favor. And I hear it was the first time this season that happened. So congratulations on your first coin flip win of the season. And it looks like they're all ready to go, so I'm hoping that the rest of these names are actually correct. But if they're not, we'll deal with it. We'll pick it up on the fly. So here we go into game number 1 between ReGen Rebel on the left and ReGen Nebula on the right. Looks like I do have all the rest of the names set up correctly, so good stuff, good stuff. And hopefully the rest of the overlays and everything have everything right. The mic comes through. Like I said, it's been a little while, so if you happen to notice anything, feel free to shout at me in the chat so that I can you know, get that notice. And good evening there, Silver Arrow. All right, our bans coming out first from Nebula. We've got the ban onto Tassadar, and Johanna gonna be the ban from Rebel. So no combination of Johanna, who's got really good wave clear, being able to pull all those minions together, and I mean whatever else they take to go along with that, to clear them out very quickly and keep those rotations moving. Chromie continuing to ban out the mages on the side of Nebula, so Tassadar is really positive, being able to clear out waves, but also can eventually put on some really significant damage onto really just about anybody, but especially onto a tank with that percent damage on his shock lance. And then you've got Chromie, who has that long range attack, does a lot of damage, and can disrupt the team through things like time traps and temporal loop. Then we've got Stukov, the ban out from ReGen Rebel. ReGen Rebel playing some bans that are very strong heroes that they don't want to deal with, and maybe it feels like Nebula looking a little bit more at target bans. Not to say that those strong heroes aren't target bans as well, but they feel a little bit more specific to the style of play that they want to participate in. Anduin's going to be the first pick here for Nebula. And we're going to get Lucio and Jaina. So Lucio's going to be the fast rotation enabler. Mentioned that earlier about Johanna. A little bit of a different circumstance there. Lucio gives them that speed in between the lanes. Also can provide some vision through his boombox if they take that. And then Jaina has that wave clear. So expect the waves to die very quickly. All those minions going to go down rapidly. Diablo going to be the pickup here for Star Fox, the tank, and Kael'thas for Stixa. You know, Diablo going in, that gives you the kind of the opportunity to be able to charge in and not have to worry about if the other team has a Garrosh, if you've got Anduin in that back line. So gives the Diablo the ability to be a little bit more aggressive with his play. And Lyric's going to be taken off the map, so no opportunity for a Entomb, along with, say, I don't know, for example, a Light Bomb and Lightning Breath coming out from Diablo. Tychus going to be taken out, so they don't want to have an easy way for them to shred that Diablo. Coming up, pick number 4 and 3 for Rebel. It's going to be Junkrat. Junkrat provides a lot of area denial through his traps and his concussion mines. So really, he can be quite strong here. Also does pretty decently on that wave clear between his grenades and his auto attacks and splitting. ETC going to be the pickup there for Cawthon. So Anduin can still pull somebody out of a mosh pit, could also use a light bomb to stop a mosh pit if it came down to it. Ragnar's going to be the pickup, so interested to see whether we see a lava wave or whether we see the smash. Smash would be great to interrupt ETC. A lot of different ways that Nebula can say, no, you don't get the opportunity to ever mosh pit, right? Vala's got her Rain of Vengeance. Rag could take his Sulfura Smash, is that his? Or is that the Q? I don't know. But anyways, he can do those things. Anduin has Light Bomb. Diablo has a couple of ways you can just pull him out. Kael'thas with the Gravity Lapse. So, interesting. We'll see if it is going to be the mosh pit, because even simply having the threat of having that mosh pit means that you have to hold on to something. Just a question of what do you hold on to make sure that you can interrupt it. But it could be a stage dive. It's a small map though, so we'll see. These are our teams. There we go. Backwards words. As we get set up here for game number 1 between ReGen Rebel and ReGen Nebula on Tomb of the Spider Queen. I agree with you, Vriel, that they don't need it for the mosh interrupt. The question is whether they want it just because of the the damage, the stun potential, all of it. So we'll see. Thank you, Taco. Thank you. All right, let's see. Did I get the right one? We'll find out later. Let's get our teams introduced on the... Oh, why is the overlay... Oh, no, I don't have the right overlay. Okay, all right. Well, let's fix this. They apparently changed that, so let's go to... Hold on 1 second. Then we'll get the teams introduced. Will this one work? Close enough. That'll work. All right. On the left, we've got ReGen Rebel. We've got Lunatic playing the Lucio. Cawthon on ETC. We got Prostman Pat there on Junkrat. It's going to be Meow Meow Cats on the Sonya and Velaravia on the Jaina. And off to the right for ReGen Nebula. Star Fox 64 going to be on that Diablo. The Shives on Vala. Murda playing the Anduin. We got IT Cowboy in a little bit of danger on the Ragnaros. And who's left? Stixa on the Kael'thas. So basically the overlay setup at the top of the screen there for the quests and all, or the talents and all that, was updated at some point, and that's the one thing I didn't think to check. So there we go. All right, so getting those rotations right now, both teams pretty similar in their XP, although Nebula a little bit faster on the rotations. We see Cowboy coming down to check out that siege camp just to make sure that Sonya wasn't down there. And the Sonya Ragnaros battle going to take place in the bottom lane. Tomb of the Spider Queen, all about the objective here with these spider gems. So you can see picking up 3 to 6 in the bottom lane. As they rotate in between, trying to pick these gems up, eventually getting those gems turned in as a tribute to the Spider Queen and bringing out the waves of spiders. Both teams on their bruiser camp want to get the bruisers out in the lane pushing, see if they can't get some value, either to turn in some of those gems or to just get a little push into the lane, get more damage onto these structures. We already see here halfway down almost on Rebel's middle wall. Cowboy continuing to check that siege camp, just making sure that maybe these two here didn't sneak down there to get that while the rest of Nebula was working on that bruiser camp. And because of that knowledge and awareness, we've got Shives gonna get to work on those giants. And of course, it's easy enough to dodge those attacks. So Vala can just sit there and get those auto attacks in, and that's going to be an extra camp. So 2 camps to 1 in favor of ReGen Nebula. 18 gems turned in for Nebula to 9 for ReGen Rebel. And Sonya and Prostman Pat there. Sonya and Junkrat getting the kill onto Ragnaros, getting that rotation. And you can see Jaina able to very easily clear the wave here with her abilities, leaving behind one of those gems. 34 now turned in for Rebel. With that kill, able to get the extra little bit to be able to turn in most of those gems. And you see highlighted now at the bottom right of the screen, Rebel has enough to get their first tribute. Sonya's going to turn in most of those. So we may see a ReGen Rebel spider wave here coming in soon. Let's take a look at the talents. Not going to be doing this too much because this overlay is absolutely horrendous for this, but it exists. So you can see some of those here for those quests. You can also see them at the top of your screen. They'll be kind of small because we're in the large sized screen here. A little bit of a perhaps miscommunication there, as Diablo was, I think, trying to leave, was trying to shadow charge out, but the leap of faith came in, and you know, sometimes that Q just gets there. And Jaina able to turn in those last few gems. And as mentioned earlier, we are going to see that first spider wave coming onto the map here and see how far they can get with it. We've got already nearly the full wall down up in the top lane. Mid is down a little bit, bottom, walls down, and keep in mind, bottom is where they had the siege camp. That kill onto Ragnaros really enabled Rebel to get some pressure down there. Reg's going to use that Molten Core to try to get some damage out there onto the wave. Not a whole lot. Maybe a little bit early on engaging with that. While the rest of Nebula up in the top, along with 4 of Rebel. So the wave is going to take out the full wall and both of the towers. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it's already got 1 tower. Could get that second one in just a moment. May get some damage onto that fort as well. Diablo's going to look for that ETC. ETC's going to power slide out. So not quite enough. That root coming out from Murda, just a little bit behind Cawthon's ability to skate out of there. Down the bottom lane, full wave or full wall is gone. So not too bad. The front line defenses all completely gone here on the side of Nebula. That was a really successful early spider wave for ReGen Rebel. Now that said, Nebula's only had 1 death. And so they still have quite a few gems. In fact, they have nearly 50. There's 52 now to be able to turn in. So if they can get a turn in, depending on when they do it, could provide them either some defense against an early level 10 advantage from ReGen Rebel, because they're about a half, 2/3 of a level ahead. Well, Diablo's going to find Sonya, but she's going to spin to win right out of there. Quite a few gems turned in. So as I was saying, Nebula could use the spider wave to defend against the advantage of that level 10, or they could wait until they get to level 10 themselves, turn in, and then use their own heroics to try to get more pressure, to get more value out of that spider wave. And right now, it looks like that's probably what they're going to try to do, because they don't want to try to turn in at this moment anyways. They've lost that potential once Rebel got to level 10. We do see that Mosh Pit Junkrat coming in with the Rip Tire, Water Elemental, Leap coming in from Sonya. Not a big surprise there. I could see it going either way, but I think that Sonya being able to set up for a Mosh with Leap is really, really fantastic. It also means that she can get into that backline if she can get onto the Anduin or the Vala or the Kael'thas, who don't have a lot of health. Then perhaps following up with a Rip Tire could enable them to get a kill. ReGen Rebel now turning in up to 51 out of the 55 required for their next Web Weavers. And there it is. They're actually going to get the next turn in. So a second turn in for Rebel. Water Elemental is going to come out. Right now, it's the only thing on the table. But Nebula does pick up their ultimates as well. And it's going to be high 5 there for Lucio. So we're going to get Apocalypse out of the Diablo. We've got Kael'thas coming in with the Phoenix. It is going to be Lava Wave for Ragnaros. Vala's going to have that Rain of Vengeance. And Anduin with the Light Bomb. So top lane's going to get that Lava Wave and basically countering most of the siege pressure from the minions. Unfortunately, it's not really going to matter. The Spider Wave brings in their own. ETC is going to get a double power slide or double Mosh Pit. However, gets almost immediately interrupted by that Rain of Vengeance. So no kills out of that. And a little bit of an awkward place being behind the fountain as well. Hard for the rest of the team to quite get in there to engage with that Mosh Pit. That one would have been fantastic if only it was still there. Light Bomb's going to get booped out by Junkrat. Fantastic concussion mine there to prevent that stun from landing and giving that extra shield there. ETC is going to get caught by the gravity lapse, but nothing there that Diablo can do to enable that any further. So all told, mid fort is likely to fall as well. So 2 forts after the second spider waves for ReGen Rebel. Taking a look here, Diablo's going to look for the Junkrat. He's going to get a cleanse. ETC is going to come in. Leap's going to come in, however, onto the Diablo. Diablo is completely isolated. Does have the Ragnaros, but is going to get that Leap of Faith over the wall, enabling Nebula to back out of the danger. But in case you didn't, I DM'd you the new... Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I can't remember if I need to... I don't think I need to restart the game. I think Actually, I don't know. I probably would need to restart the game. I could probably make that work, though. But thank you for noting that. I wouldn't have seen it. Diablo going in was looking for ETC and a lot of damage there, but ETC was able to get out. The layering of the stuns just not quite in the time that they needed it to be in order to get that kill. Bottom lane's going to have Siege Camp coming in toward the bottom fort, but ReGen Nebula has their first Web Weavers coming in, and bottom lane has the Lava Wave coming in. It's going to clear out all those minions and enable that Spider Wave to push really, really far, right up to the wall. Yeah, I'll definitely give that a shot. ETC is going to get the two-man mosh, is going to get the cleanse as well, so the Rain of Vengeance does not interrupt it. Junkrat going to secure that kill out onto Kael'thas, and the Leap of Faith coming out to save Diablo once again. What a cleanse from that high five, enabling that ETC to keep the party going and locking down Kael'thas to get to secure that kill. You do not. Okay, cool. Thanks. Appreciate that. Bottom lane there, Sonya's going to get charged, gets flipped, has the Rain of Vengeance, and there's the first kill of the game for Nebula. But keep in mind, that's only the third kill of this entire game. Kael'thas, of course, being the second. Now, I was going to say, ETC was behind, looking to see if they couldn't try to catch some of Nebula in between the fort. But here they go, looking for that. Lucio couldn't quite get there. He was able to skate away just barely in time. Apocalypse not able to land either, and Belaravia there with all of 20% of her health, able to sneak away from Star Fox. 80 gems in the hands of ReGen Nebula, though. IT Cowboy's going to get many of those turned in. 38 now turned in toward their second wave. Leap of Faith coming out onto the Diablo. Leap's going to come in, is not going to land onto Vala, but able to push her off. However, 46 now turned in for Nebula. A few more, just getting a quick turn in from Rebel so that they have whatever gems they can, because of course, if you die, you lose them. Unless somebody's able to pick them up, and it seems like that is so rarely the case. So you want to protect those gems, get them deposited into the bank, make sure that they are insured by your local Spider Queen. The Spider Queen Deposit Insurance Corporation, whatever it is. Charge going out onto ETC. A lot of damage, but it's not really landing. Kael'thas is going to get caught by the mosh pit. Riptire coming in. Probably looking to try to get onto Ragnaros, but ultimately able to kill it before it gets to its destination. Alice, what are you eating? Yeah, give me it. All right. Nebula looking to try to get a turn in. Rebel preventing that. Where is the boombox? We have it. We have a boombox somewhere, right? Nope, guess not. It's probably out there. Oh, it's right there. Diablo by himself. Root coming out onto ETC. There's the Apocalypse. Is going to get the stun onto ETC, but it doesn't matter with that leap, or the high five, going to keep the ETC safe. Star Fox in danger as the wave coming in from Anduin, just not quite enough. ETC, however, also going to fall, and Murda also going down, and look at all those red gems. Going to be able to pick most of them up, but Shives is going to fall next. Styx are trying to pick up as many of them as possible. This is a dangerous place now, though, as Ragnaros is right in front of this, if I remember correctly. Yeah, exactly. If Rebel waited another moment, they probably could have taken out that Ragnaros. They may not have known exactly where Ragnaros was. And you can see Diablo's kind of expecting that they're going to come try to turn in. Getting that flip out onto Jaina. Jaina's going to get the high five, so the cleanse coming out. But look at how quickly she falls. And that was without really any damage from Ragnaros. It was almost entirely just the Diablo and the Kael'thas. Pat going to turn in 11 final gems. And we get our third spider wave for the blue team, ReGen Rebel. Looks like we're going to go up for the top lane. Sonya's going to go ahead and leap away to safety as all of Nebula was kind of looking there. Going to leave Ragnaros behind. But, you know, a little bit of an off play there because they don't get the kill out onto the Sonya. And already the Spider's doing a lot of work up on the top. Light Bomb's going to come out. Is going to interrupt the mosh pit. The cleanse coming out onto ETC. They cannot quite lock him down for long enough. They're looking for Murda, though, on the Anduin in the back here. Coffin's still pretty low. But it's Stixa in the back here. Murda also is going to fall in the front. Stixa has 43 gems. Does not want to die on an island there. Is going to be able to make it out. So the majority of Nebula's gems continue to be safe. But Rebel putting the work in on this top keep. As mentioned, that wall already gone. The Spider's really doing heavy work. Diablo trying to just keep the zone alive here. Push them back far enough so that they can't put any damage onto this top keep. DC looking, is going to get a little bit of reset value out of the Encore. Leap coming in, they get the land onto Diablo, but not quite quickly enough to land on those squishier targets. But it was close. El Taco says these high fives are more like high sevens. The high fives have been absolutely critical to the success of Rebel in this game so far. ETC kind of baiting the Diablo to come out. High five heads, yeah. Indeed. All right, Meow Meow is going to work on the Bruiser camp as the rest of Rebel. Going to try to push forward a little bit into the mid lane. Just, again, create some space so that they can pick up that Bruiser camp, get that XP, and get the level 20s. And here's where the game starts to get interesting. Seeing what we get. So it is going to be death metal there for ETC. We've got the reduced cooldown for Junkrat's Riptire. Jaina actually taking a different level 20 than I think we often see with Water Elemental. And ETC with a massive 4-man mosh, and there's nothing Ragnaros can do about it. Unfortunately, the knockback from the Encore threw 2 people out, but they get 3 kills, and that is gonna be it. There's, well, maybe not. They got to take the keep out first. They were looking for that core. They said, hey, we got this, but they still have 45 seconds until Vala's on the map and Kael'thas is on the map. I think they can go for core right now, and this is looking pretty solid for ReGen Rebel on their first game on Tomb of the Spider Queen. 30 seconds left for all of the damage, or primarily most of the damage anyways, coming out from Nebula. And you see Cowboy just trying to do what he can to get a little damage out there, but the core's falling fast, already at 40%, 20%, and that's going to be it. As ReGen Rebel pulling it off and getting game number 1 of this best of 3 series. Oh, there we go. Alrighty, let's see if we can get that overlay set up. I just got to remember where that interface is. Let's see. Well, big? No. I don't have an interface folder in my heroes folder. Okay, we'll try this. Yeah, imagine going Korra on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Okay. All right, so they're going to take a moment to get their maps taken care of, so let's come back over to me. Documents, Heroes of the Storm, interfaces. Okay, I see. Is this it? Is where it should be? Okay, let's see if that changes anything. Kurama, good call, good call. Replay. Okay. Let's see. So it doesn't have anything listed there yet, so let's try this. I will restart the game real quick and see if that works. Yeah, because it didn't have any Olyobs. I don't know why. Okay, play. Here's a storm. Let's go. So 1-0 currently in favor of ReGen Rebel. After Tomb of the Spider Queen, let's take a look at those maps. We saw the bans earlier out on Dragonshire and Sky Temple from ReGen Rebel. The bans from Nebula on Brax's Holdout and Volskaya Foundry. I don't actually know where the second game is. I know that there was a link, but I didn't get a chance to see it before I hit exit. So we'll find out in a moment where we're going for game number 2. It didn't? Okay. Well, we'll see. I put it where you said that you put it, so we'll see if it's there now. And if it's not, then it's Taco's fault. Yeah, observer interface. It doesn't have anything. It just doesn't exist. I don't know why it's not there, but that's okay. We'll use the other thing, so be it. Let's see, join game. All right, let's see which team. So they wanted first pick. So this is the pick of ReGen Rebel. We're going to Battlefield of Eternity. And apparently they're changing people. We have new people in this game. Cool. Just explaining to them what I was trying to do. So we are all set up as far as that's concerned. Oops, that's not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go here. There we go. Back to me. We don't need to go to that. Documents, just to double check to make sure. Just to double check. Just to double check. Yeah, no, it's right there. It's not recognized. Oh, it sounds like maybe we have a substitution. If I had 400 more points, I would suggest a poll. Who thinks ReGen is going to win? You know what? I got you. We'll do that poll. We'll do this poll right now. There you go. All right, so we have another substitution. So we're subbing people all over the place here. Well, that's weird. The entirety of Nebula just bailed. I think ReGen may not win. Interesting. Apparently if the party lead leaves the game, then everybody goes with them. I have not had that experience before. I didn't know. Oh man. Oh no, the color's off. My glasses are getting hit by the filter. That's what I get. I changed the settings on the webcam so that my face was looking like completely white with like red splotches on my cheek. It was so weird. I'm like, why is it doing that? Then I realized that the settings on the webcam were really off. And now, of course, the overlay, the green screen filter's a little awkward, but that's okay. All right, so I think they're just about ready to go. So we can get into this. Just a reminder, let's take a look at those maps again. We saw ReGen Rebel pick Tomb of the Spider Queen. They won that map. And Nebula went for Battlefield of Eternity. And they were able to... ReGen Rebel was able to pick the map. I'm sorry. Oh my god. I'm trying to think of three different things at the same time. Nebula chose first pick, which gave Rebel the opportunity to go for Battlefield Eternity. Are we confused yet? There we go. It occurred to me, I didn't tell them that I was ready for last round, but that's like normal. Like I always tell people, like, I'm always ready, just go. Sounds like everybody's ready. I don't know why they're not hitting the start. Let's hit the start button, you guys. Let's go. You know what? As long as we're here, why don't we shout out the Nexus Gaming Series Patreon? That wasn't very long. That said, it looks like they are getting ready to start the game, so we'll be ready to go back into the draft for game number 2. Here we go. It's Battlefield of Eternity. And I'll just need to make sure that when I go to the game that I go to the other one. All right, so Greymane. How did I have Shives on Greymane? Probably because I didn't fix that before. Such an amateur. Such an amateur. Let's see. So that was Tomb of the Spider Queen, and Rebel won that. So let's just take a quick note of who they had. Lucio, Sonya. And we had Anduin, Nebula, Vala, Rag. All right, sticking with the ban on to the Johanna coming from ReGen Rebel. It's gonna be May, the ban for ReGen Nebula. And Sonya. So, you know, the Sonya enabling some team fights there, or following up on the mosh pits. May, a hero that I'm gonna name any names, but some people like to play on the side of ReGen Rebel. Gonna be Stukov taken out from ReGen Rebel. So this feels all right. Apparently I was just predicting the gray main last game. I was one game off. So this feels more targeted. You know, the Stukov and the Sonya both provide a lot of value here. Johanna is just a strong defensive, May's strong defensive, but also they both do have some area denial. So with Battlefield of Eternity, it is a little bit of a tighter space, tighter corridors. So getting rid of those heroes, not bad, but it also just feels like maybe those are heroes that they want to make sure that the enemy team doesn't get. We changed multiple people over here. Okay. So Vala and ETC the pickup here for ReGen Rebel. We're gonna get Li Ming and Garrosh for Nebula. So I just gotta take a second, start swapping some names around here. That's gone. East. Okay, all right. Getting there now. So Greymane Li Ming, a long time combination with Greymane having the first bullet, Li Ming having that just burst potential, and then being able to get resets when you kill somebody. That combo has been really strong since I think Li Ming came out after Greymane. Not positive, but I think that's the case. Worked really well with Varian because that you just lock him down for a second and there you go. Garrosh has the ability to lock people down and reposition them pretty significantly, so can work just as well. Gonna get the bans out onto Artanis and Kira. So Artanis, very strong race hero, also has some pretty significant displacement. Kira, really more of a team fight hero, and we're gonna get some Lily action. Lily able to blind the Greymane, so can help to reduce that incoming damage. Also has a very low cooldown on cleanse, one of the lowest. If you don't count high five, I think hers is the lowest. And then it's going to be Blaze for Kotham there. So a double tank out of ReGen Rebel. We're going to get Thrall going into that along with Brightwing. So I like the CC. You get somebody thrown, you polymorph them, and you blow them up. Right, they're gonna die. So how does Rebel protect them? Not really sure. Medivh would be good protection, but you're putting all your eggs in a Vala basket. So they're just gonna go for that burst potential. I think they move people around. Let's see. So it's going to be Hanzo. So another hero that is good for the race here. So Vala Hanzo is going to be able to tear through that Immortal very quickly. Looks like they swapped those. And then we've got Thrall and Brightman. All right. Again, apologies for the setup having the weird quest overlay and all that good stuff.
Prepare yourselves for battle, heroes.
Okay, good. We do still have the pop-ups here. All right. On the left, we've got ReGen Rebel currently up 1-0 in this best of 3. It's going to be Cawthon on ETC once again. We got Lunatic there on the Vala. Taco going to be playing Hanzo. Eastrend on the Blaze. And Lily going to be played by Meow Meow Cats. And over here to the right, ReGen Nebula looking to score their first point in the series. We've got Stixa on the Li Ming. IT Cowboy on the Thrall. We've got the Shives on Greymane. Kurama there on Brightwing, and Star Fox on the Garrosh. So a 5-man rotation coming in from Nebula. Hoping that they could maybe get a quick kill on somebody, as I imagine what they're looking for here. Thrall's kind of pretty far out, though, to be able to do that. Throw coming in from Garrosh is going to get the toss, and Hanzo's going to be the first blood of this game 23 seconds in. Cawthon having to pull away. Greymane able to get a little poke damage now up in the top, though. Blaze able to clear out that lane, is going to start putting a little damage onto that wall. Thrall's going to head up to try to make sure that they can even out that XP and not lose too much. Those early game kills don't really give you a lot of XP. As you can see, Nebula just now catching up as Thrall able to make it up to the top, but there's not that much difference. But what it does do is it prevents people from getting quests completed or getting additional shots out there, for example, for the Hanzo. So Hanzo has a little bit harder time now completing that, because that early game is when you often get quite a few of those shots on that arrow quest. It's going to be the Hungering Arrow there for Vala. So really going for that race, and Hanzo not going into the serrated arrows. So, or whatever the talent is for that ability. Garrosh was looking for Hanzo. Unfortunately for Star Fox there was a minion just a little bit closer. Oh my goodness, and check out Vala. You know what? Let's say hi to Vala. Vala, look at that health bar. That is not a lot of health. Li Ming with an absolute monstrous combo, getting Vala quite low. Thrall up here, putting some pressure onto the Blaze. Blaze doesn't have a whole lot of health or mana, so in a moment, Blaze is going to have to pull back, or it was almost a kill there. Down at the bottom, those Shives going to receive the phase shift from Kurama. Greymane needing that health, going a little bit heavy into the enemy team. And we're now coming up on 2:30, which means that the Immortals are going to be spawning soon. We see Nebula going for their Shaman camp. But knowing that, or anticipating that, Rebel's going to get this bottom camp real quick. That could give them enough time to get over here and pick up the Shaman camp. It's not a lot of time, because these will be up in a few seconds. But it could give them a little bit of an advantage. We see Thrall heading back, trying to get full on the mana. Blaze coming up to make sure that Thrall wasn't here. Not really sure what that was, but you know what? It happens. There's that Shaman camp. So double camp in the bottom lane. This is a very significant value to ReGen Rebel. And you see Nebula kind of saying, we can't just let that happen. We need to kind of pull back and deal with this, because they will lose structures out of that. This also could be the time for them to get some kills, though, because it's an uneven fight there. 5 versus 4. So losing structure value, XP, and the Immortal, not a great combination. So Brightwing's going to try to do what she can, the little murderous fairy dragon that she is. But Star Fox not able to find a place to go in and get anybody. So the Immortal race currently in favor of ReGen Rebel, on top of the fact that they've got everything going for them in the other lanes. All right, race coming up. We've got Greymane and Li Ming versus Hanzo and Vala. Did I have it wrong? I thought I had... blue team ahead, but apparently I'm just not paying attention. Garrosh is going to throw it out. Nebula is going to go ahead and get the first immortal of the game because I can't pay attention apparently to colors. Either that or they just absolutely shredded that immortal. I don't know. One or the other. Right wing up in the top. So some decent damage here. Top lost the wall, one of the towers. Just a little bit of damage in the bottom lane. Immortal is going to get some damage. Big stun on Tavalla. However, Thrall with the Brightwing is going to come up here, try to see if they can't catch the Blaze, but really they're just going to stop what Blaze was already doing. Immortal is nearly dead as Brightwing shifts down, so this is 4 versus 4 in the bottom lane now. Garrosh is going to find Taco and the poly. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I said early on. You throw, you poly, and you absolutely destroy whoever it is who was unfortunate enough to be close enough to you. Blaze is going to get the stun out onto Thrall. Thrall kind of says, you know what? I got Feral Spirit. I'll root you and just stand here and tank you for a moment. Tower down here, the fort rather. Now just a little bit under half. Full minion wave. And Meow Meow Cat's getting really low there. ETC is going to get thrown. There's the poly, but the cleanse coming out from Lily. And I mentioned that cleanse on Lily is a very short cooldown. So it's right here. Let's go. It gets reduced by her fast feet. So when she takes damage, that reduces that cooldown a little bit. And it's already a short cooldown. So throw coming out from Garrosh onto ETC. There's the poly. Just not quite enough in the tank to be able to take out ETC just at the moment, but as the game goes on, when they get to level 10, anybody, including ETC, is in danger there. Li Ming going into that Calamity at level 7 as well, so she'll be able to put out a full combo into those throws very quickly. Star Fox looking for that I was gonna say looking for that taco, as you do. It is Tuesday, so this could be Tacos Tuesday. All right. Rebel getting started on the Immortal very quickly, nearly getting it to half already. As Nebula, showing up a little bit late, gets maybe about 27, 30%, somewhere in there. Why did I say 27? I don't know. And it looks like we're going to get a fight over the top Immortal. Nebula says, no, we're not going to let you get that easy. So ETC is going to get a slide down on the Thrall, then knockback, however. Going to push him out. Lily gets thrown in. Polymorph coming out onto, I think, Beastren, and he's going to get very low, but the cleanse coming out. Now, I don't know that Nebula saw that, but this is a time they could take advantage of that cleanse being down, especially with their level 10s coming up. So those will be there in a moment. Thrall's trying to get some mana. Bro coming out onto Cawthon. ETC's going to power slide away. And here are the level 10s. So I expect to see Rebel pull back at this point, but Nebula needs to be able to pick up something on the Immortal. Otherwise, they're just looking for a kill here. They're just waiting for them to come in. Greymane's going to head down onto the bottom Immortal so they can start working on that race. And if Rebel's paying attention, they'll see that somebody's missing. Cowboy's going to get very low. As here comes the Dragon Strike from Hanzo. Garrosh looking for ETC. He's going to get the throw. Cleanse coming out. Garrosh, the one in danger, is going to pop his own Unstoppable to get out of there. Bunker used as well. But it is going to be the blue team's Immortal, ReGen Rebel, coming in with it in the bottom lane. Bottom lane fort not looking super healthy, but Rebel's going to come down and clean up this minion wave before it gets there. So they'll be able to protect that fort. Checking in on top lane just real quick here. So pretty much where we saw it last time. Cowboy a little bit low on mana. Beastren pretty healthy there. So right now, maybe a very slight advantage in favor of the Blaze. But we'll have to kind of keep checking up there. Blaze missed that stun, has to use that Pyromania for the additional armor, and just trying to stay alive, trying to make sure that Thrall can't do anything too dangerous to him. With that Rolling Thunder at level 1, it does give that extra % damage, so Thrall can do a lot to that Blaze. And going into that Feral Spirit, I imagine we'll see an Alpha Wolf at level 16, so even more percent damage coming out from Thrall. A little bit interesting to see him go for the Wind Fury talent, though. We'll see how that works out. Throw coming out. ETC's looking in the back line. It's going to be the dragon, the water dragon, but it's Thrall. I'm sorry, not Thrall. Garrosh is going to be all by himself, and that leaves the back line absolutely exposed. ReGen Rebel getting 3 kills out of that, and the siege camp. That's going to give them the opportunity now to take down the rest of this fort, getting that first structure of the game here in just a moment. Hanzo pulling up, heading up to maybe try to get the Thrall. Blaze missing that jet propulsion. Hanzo coming in from the side. We've got the rest of the team showing up in the bottom lane. And nope, Hanzo's not going for Thrall. Hanzo wants the siege camp. Makes sense. Can clear it out pretty quickly. Has that level 4 talent to be able to clear them rather quickly, but here comes Thrall scouting it out. Rest of Nebula says, let's go. We can get up there. We're skipping the camp. There's phase shift coming in. Taco's gonna get caught by it, and that is 1 kill. Looking for the 2nd kill out onto the Blaze. They lose the camp, but Nebula gonna be able to pick up 2 kills. The rest of Rebel is here. Oh my goodness, Vala so low. If that Q was a little bit closer, maybe it could have caught, but the Warlord's challenge not going to be able to land onto ETC. ReGen Nebula now with the advantage. What are they going to do with it? They've got only 10 seconds for Blaze. That's the last person for them. Vala's going to get caught, but there's nothing there to follow up. Li Ming couldn't quite get the damage out there to get that kill. And of course, Greymane was already working on the Immortal. So Nebula's going to be able to get the first half of the Immortal race. Halftime completed. Immortals on the defensive side. Both teams have their shaman camps available. Looking maybe to see if they can get the ETC. They need the damage. There's the Warlord challenge, and ETC absolutely deleted. Sticks it coming in with that big burst. Getting the rest of the shaman camp completed now. Heading over to the offensive side. Blaze is going to head up, try to deal with that. But this should be a nice, quick, easy burn onto the Immortal. It's a big problem if they're able to get this Lily kill. That is absolutely crucial. Nebula now easily going to be able to pick up the Immortal. And it wouldn't surprise me if they go run over here to steal the Shaman camp away, especially with Taco doing half the damage for him. No Lily available. Nice, quick, easy burn on that. Shaman camp. I believe the Shaman camp will even skip this fort. I think it's going to go straight over to that keep. If I remember right. Oh, no, it's going to get caught. Ah, crap. Well, Li Ming got themselves a kill on Vala up here. Most likely because Star Fox caught them on the rotation, threw them into the group, and combo destroyed the Vala. Well, that's what we're going to call it. That's what happened. Oh, a little bit of spray action here. Showing some Uther on the ground. Nebula picking up 2 forts out of this exchange, and this is where, you know, we saw in game number 1 the momentum was pretty balanced, but mostly in Rebels' favor, very slightly. This game has been fairly balanced, and once they got to level 13, Nebula was able to really pick it up, and it all started with that top siege camp. Being able to identify that Hanzo was up there trying to take that camp, getting the kill onto Hanzo and Blaze, and then later the follow-up onto Lily and Vala gives Nebula a very significant leg up in this game. The wall completely down in this top keep. This now becomes game-winning condition here for ReGen Nebula. That said, Rebel has a path to victory through the bottom lane. Maybe don't have as much structure damage though, so they couldn't turn it around as quickly. Garrosh is looking for either the ETC or the Lily. They're not going to get either. Encore pushing Garrosh away. However, There's the throw onto the Greymane. Can they make anything happen here? Looking for the Hanzo, but Hanzo's going to get taken out. Dragon Strike's going to come out, but it's not in time to be able to get enough damage in that narrow passageway to be able to get the Hanzo. I don't know if Hanzo had his agility, but even if he did, it looks like Garrosh would have been in a position to throw him right back over. So get a pause. We'll see what's going on. Oh, looks like Lily has disconnected. Meow Meow Cats. So brief pause while we come back. Say hello to me. Hello to you. How are you tonight? It's good to see you. It's very pleasant that you could be a part of this experience tonight. Etc., etc. Let's see here. So while we're in a pause, why don't we take a quick look? We'll take a look at the standings. Let's see where these teams are. So ReGen Nebula, our team on the right, 23 points, number 3 in the division. ReGen Rebel, team on the left, 10 points, now up to 11 points with that last game. Tied for 9th place overall. Our maps, as mentioned, we're currently on Battlefield of Eternity, but our map bans. We're out on Dragonshire and Sky Temple from ReGen Rebel. Well, Sky Foundry and Braxis Holdout from ReGen Nebula. Bella, thank you very much for giving a sub to a good friend of mine, Bella's Cold Wine. Much appreciated. Good time to say appreciate you in all the other casting games. Thank you very much, Ignasty. You know, I haven't cast in a while, so if I seem a little bit slower than I perhaps otherwise might have been, some of the talents and stuff like that aren't popping off my head like they used to. It's been a while. It's been several months. My computer wasn't really in the best of shape to do a whole lot of streaming, so I haven't really done basically any. I've been trying to get some in there just to kind of keep things going, but just haven't. It stinks when you're in the middle of the stream and the game's just like, boom, I'm done, because you know you have memory bombs. But thankfully I got that worked out. Got some new RAM, so it's able to be good. All right, looks like the teams are maybe ready to go. Nebula. Okay. So, but yes, appreciate you guys being here. It's really fantastic to be able to do this again. It has been a while, and it's always enjoyable to be able to see the competition. And you know what? It's a ReGen matchup between 2 ReGen teams. So, you know, what better place is there to get back into it and have some fun? Looks like our teams are ready. So when they start the countdown, here we go. I will put us back over here. All right, so what do we got? We have a dead Hanzo. We just saw that. The siege camp picked up by ReGen Nebula. They've got a 5 versus 4 in the top lane, looking to try to get some more damage out onto this top keep. With the siege coming behind them, may be able to do a little bit there. Immortals coming up though in 20 seconds. So really they're just going to try to keep a little bit of pressure here. Force Rebel to clear out that lane. But keep in mind now, this is Nebula's game as far as advantage. They've got catapults going in both lanes. Bottom lane is equalized, but it's not great. Hanzo right next to the Garrosh, and Garrosh is like, nah, you know what? I don't want any of that. Was looking for that ETC, but Garrosh is going to get stunned. Unstoppable used, is able to, I think, accidentally to avoid the mosh pit, and walks right through it, throws the ETC away, and nothing happens, amazingly. However, Coffin getting absolutely deleted there by the cursed bullet. Taunt coming out onto the blaze. These tanks are not having a good time of it, at least for the moment. Coffin able to skate away with that power slide, but he's going to get thrown back in. Power slides right back out. Another stun coming in. Can they get him? Can Garrosh throw in an ally? Doesn't have to. Coffin going to go down. That's going to be 2 kills. Both of the frontliners here for ReGen Rebel as Nebula going to be able to get the halftime proc in their favor. And with 30 seconds until ETC, 10 more seconds until Blaze, this could very well be a quick burn for Nebula. Instead, Li Ming's going to head back, get mana. Shives and Cowboy going to get the Shaman camp going here. And Brightwing, the lone damage on the Immortal. Garrosh coming over says, you know, we haven't seen you guys in a while. What are you doing over here? So Shaman Camp's going to go out. It will basically just get taken out because the Immortal's coming in this lane anyways. Hey, it's Jack, buddy. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're well. We were just talking about you the other day. Top lane's going to be able to maybe get some pressure here because of that Immortal going in the bottom. Rebel, I'm going to keep doing that. Nebula. It would be easier if they didn't start with similar sounding first names. Or I guess second names. ETC's going to knock back the Garrosh. Garrosh's going to get caught in this one. Can't really do anything there. Blaze going to get the stun in the backline, but they don't get enough damage out onto Garrosh to get the kill, but they do succeed on the Brightwing, and in a moment later, Garrosh is going to go down as well. But top keep will fall thanks to the rest of the pressure around it. And bottom lane, that Immortal is still quite healthy. A lot of shielding. This bottom keep is probably done as well. So even though Nebula lost 2 with their tank and their healer, that net trade is very much in their favor. They've got level 20s coming up. They're 3/4 of a level ahead now of Rebel. So really, Rebel, this is the time that Rebel should be trying to make something happen while those 2 heroes are dead. At the moment, they see that top camp is available, so they're going to try to get what they can out of the structure up here. We see the defense pings coming out from Nebula. They don't want to give this away for free, and especially if they've got this siege camp and a catapult in the bottom lane, why not? Try to keep them busy. Don't overexpose yourself, just like Thrall did. That's the one downside. If you're going to go up there, you can't put yourself in a position that you could potentially die from it. And Cawthon nearly paying the same price as Thrall, getting a little far forward. Lunatic as well. The damage coming out from Li Ming, popping off, able to get the kill onto Vala, and they keep going. Greymane looking for Meow Meow, is not going to be able to finish it, and Li Ming trying to find it too. Big Warlord challenge onto 2 in the throw. He's going to get another kill, make it a 3rd kill, and Nebula looking for that final kill out onto Beastren. Can they get it? One more hit should do the job, and there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, ReGen Nebula coming in with an absolutely fantastic play. Let's take a quick look at Stixa here. Just absolutely throwing the team over the shoulder, getting those resets, and pushing everybody forward. Getting the kill after kill after kill. And that's it. It's gonna be game in a few moments. One more throw, maybe one more kill out onto Cawthon here. Mosh Pit coming out just to try to have a little dance party at the end. Slow things down. Very slow as the pause onto Greymane is going to make it so that that core will stick alive for just a little bit longer. But that's going to be game number 2 going over to ReGen Nebula and gives us a game 3 for tonight. What an exciting finisher there. You know, there are moments where, or there are games where you have some back and forth, and then it just kind of slowly moves toward an inevitable end. And then there are games where you get a little bit of a momentum shift, and then it almost for a moment seems like it's turning against you, right? They lost the 2 heroes, so be it, not a huge deal, but they lose Thrall on the top fort. And that looked like it was potentially going to be some swinging going right over to ReGen Rebel. But then, out of nowhere, you start landing those Li Ming missiles and the orbs and teleports, and Li Ming just showing up, doing all the damage, securing those kills onto those low health targets, and then that's it. Game over. Level 20s did get achieved by both teams, we've got all those talents hosted there for you. Jack, it's great to see you, buddy. Are you streaming at all? I haven't seen you in a while, so I think that you've kind of gone up back onto a break, if I remember correctly. But as always, it's great to see you. I hope you're doing well. Currently, 1-1 in this best of 3 series between ReGen Rebel and ReGen Nebula. It's going to be Rebel's choice where they go. I assume they're going to take map pick. They elected for map pick when they started. The real question is, which map will they take? I know which one I want them to take, and they probably know which one I want them to take as well. I don't know that they'll do it, but I'm always a fan of a game 3 where it comes down to Towers of Doom. Haven't streamed in ages. Great to see you as always. You know, I thought that was the case, that I just wasn't, you know, missing you. But hey, I miss you, Jack. Hero, Screaming, Throw. And Li Ming. Okay. One more game. Best of 3. It's going to be the 3rd game coming up. See what they choose to do. And Jack, if you're not up to date, definitely check in on the status on, I'm not going to go into tons of detail here, but check in on the status on Lisa's album. There's been a lot of progress on that. Okay, so nothing yet from the teams. So what we'll do is we're going to go to a short, what I'm going to call a commercial break. It's not really a commercial break, just an opportunity for me to get a drink real quick and for you to watch one of the many awesome Blizzard videos that they've put out over time. This one is going to be the Hanamura update when that originally came out. So enjoy. We'll see you in a moment.
When I was young, I lived a life of recklessness. In my selfishness, I inflicted pain and hurt those I cared for. I have learned many lessons in my struggles with doubt and fear. Balance and harmony are not easily attained. They must be fought for! But on my journey, I have learned another lesson. You do not have to fight alone.
Let's do this!
Alrighty, welcome back everybody. I do have our third map of the game. Third map of the series, rather. We're going to Towers of Doom, baby. I don't know if they heard me, if they were like listening into the stream and were like, hey, you know what? Let's go to Towers of Doom because everyone likes Towers of Doom. Or if they genuinely wanted to play Towers of Doom. But ultimately, we're going to Towers of Doom one way or the other. I'm excited about it. You should be excited about it because Towers is amazing. And, you know, it's not something like you can't just win a fight and then just go win the game, right? Like you have to maneuver around the map. You have to play around these objectives. And, you know, if you get late enough, sure, you could potentially essentially do the same thing. But ultimately, in most cases, you have to keep things going. You get a little bit of an advantage, but there's always that opportunity for the opposing team to catch up. So I'm really excited about this. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you selecting this one. Just double checking to see if we had any other substitutions like we did in the prior. Majesty says, let's go Rebel. Got some Rebel fans in the house. Murda's back in. We got a little bit of a swap there. This guy's keeping me on my toes. Okay. All right. So Towers of Doom is a map where instead of the objective like in the first game that we had, really both of these last two games were both objectives where you fought over a control point, being the turn-in point or the immortal. You have these kind of areas that are going to be focused on battles, and then you get an objective that assists you in battle, whether it's taking down forts or going down a lane, what have you. This map is a little bit different. The forts never go away, so when you kill them, when you break them down, they convert to the enemy team. And then the objectives on this map, when you secure an objective, you take points off of your opponent's core. So both teams start at 40, and then each time you use an objective, it fires a shot, one for your core plus one for each fort that you have. So at the beginning of the game, that's 4 and 4. And you'll see that at the bottom right of the screen. As the game goes on, it may be more or less. You could potentially, at some points, see as many as 7 shots going into the enemy core if that team has taken all 6 of the forts. So we'll see how this goes. Like I said, it's definitely a game or a map that gives the defenders a little bit of a leg up in that regard. Lots of battles going to be taking place over those objective points. Rotations are pretty critical here as well. Less, obviously, as we saw, less important on that map that we just left. Battlefield of Eternity being a 2-lane map, the rotations there are generally speaking going to be more toward, can we get a quick kill onto a solo laner, or can we go get a camp, something along those lines. Whereas that first game, rotations were really important because you wanted to collect those gems, you wanted to get as much XP as you could. And in this one, there's no gems to collect. It's really more about the XP, but also keeping that lane presence and pushing that lane forward, taking out walls, ultimately flipping those towers to give you additional points. And there's no better place to do that than in the bottom lane of this map. Bottom lane is going to provide that value because there are additional camps to provide that support. So we're going to see very similar bans, except ETC is going to be taken out of it. No more ETC, although they seem to do really well against the ETC last game. So Brightwing's going to be the first pick here, where I'm picking up that Murderous Fairy Dragon once again. And Junkrat going to be the first pick, and Junkrat is a pretty good hero here. Has the ability to stall out any of those objective channels, and new player on the map here. It's going to be Harrison pulling up the Anduin. So again, that potential for that leap of faith. So no Garrosh throws, or at least fewer Garrosh throws, are going to lead to deaths. But it also gives the potential for enabling one of your dive heroes. We just saw Genji in the video. So, Muradin was another one that you could see. Johanna's gone, so you're not going to see a Light Bomb Johanna combo, but could be a lot of different opportunities there for Rebel to take a dive hero that then has that Light Bomb to get a big stun. That said, Nebula pulling out everything but their damage. So we're going to get Murda on the Muradin. That's not going to get confusing at all. And we got Dahaka coming out for IT Cowboy. So Dahaka has that ability to get around the map, just like we saw Brightwing on Battlefield of Eternity. A little bit different. They can only go through the bushes, so they're a little bit limited in the locations they can come in, but it still allows for a lot more map presence. You have to always assume that no matter how, at this point, no matter how many people you see on the enemy team, if you're ReGen Rebel, there's always 3 people available. Diablo's going to get taken out. Not a big surprise. I think that is a pretty good ban with that Anduin coming in. So, you know, it really limits what tank options are available at this point, with Diablo being gone, with ETC, with Johanna, Muradin being on. May's still an option. We saw that ban last game. Taco's not on the map, so I don't know if Taco's or if Coffin's going to play it. They're going to pick up the Blaze. Blaze is a tanky hero, so very much can fill that role. But they also had Beastren play Blaze last game, so we'll see if that changes anything. Meow Meow Cat's picking up the Malthael, and from what I recall, Meow Meow Cat's plays a pretty mean Malthael. Final picks here, Sylvanas and Hanzo for Nebula. Sylvanas able to really enable what I was talking about earlier, being able to get that bottom lane fort down quickly and maintain it. And then Hanzo, kind of like I said with Junkrat, can poke from long range to prevent the channel of the objectives and also just do a lot of damage. Jaden is going to be the final pick here of this set. We're in the final few seconds before game number 3 between ReGen Rebel and ReGen Nebula, and this is it. Whoever wins this game gets bragging rights over all of the ReGen organization, because I don't think there are any other ReGen teams that are in a position to play against each other in a match, unless there's one in C West, which I'm not sure. Then maybe there's a grand finals potential, but this is it. So game on as we get into game number 3 here between ReGen Rebel on the left, ReGen Nebula on the right. Let's introduce our teams. I think I got all those right. Yeah. We're going to start over here to the right with ReGen Nebula, evening the score 1-1. Murda going to be on the Muradin. We got Shives playing the Sylvanas, Karama on Brightwing, Stixa showing me the money on the Hanzo, and Dahaka going to be played by IT Cowboy. Off to the left, it's ReGen Rebel looking for that one additional point for the bragging rights. We got Coughlin on the Blaze, Lunatic there going to be on the Junkrat. We got Beastrend on Jaina, Harrison going to be on the Anduin, and Meow Meow Cats on the Malthael. So if anybody has any questions about the talents, because I know those are very, very small up there, let me know and I can certainly show this. But that's all you're going to get for now on that. Murda missing the stun there. Drag coming out onto the Junkrat, though, so pulling him into Nebula for a moment. Meow Meow Cats and Murda both pretty low. Murda going into that Dwarf Toss ability at level 1, so getting the physical armor against the next few attacks when he jumps in. Blaze is going to get stunned by Murden. Jaina, however, as mentioned in game number 1, able to clear that wave very, very quickly. Checking in up top. IT Cowboy very low. And I think Malthael has the advantage there. Malthael, especially with having on a pale horse, able to get back and forth between this top and mid lane very quickly. Whereas Dahaka, a little bit less so. He did take the enhanced agility, so he can move quickly through the lane, through those bushes, as the game goes on, as he gets more of that essence. But it definitely gives a little bit of advantage potentially over to ReGen Rebel, especially they've got, you can see these pumpkin sappers meeting up a little bit on the side of ReGen Nebula. They just had a little bit slower time of it. But Sylvanas able to shut down these sappers, so they're not going to get any more value. Then there's our big stun coming out. Murda having to jump away, but Shives also making use of the Wailing Arrow. And they are able to get one sapper through, so a lot of damage onto that bottom tower. 40% or so. Coffee was still 100%. Right wing heading up to clear up that mid lane soak. As mentioned, Dahaka just a little bit behind there. Doesn't have the quick speed to be able to get through because he doesn't have that mount. Wants to be able to save his Brush Stalker Global for when the team needs it, either for a fight or when these objectives come up. Altars coming up. There are 3 on the first wave. But right now, because of that rotation that Malthael's able to bring with that pale horse, that extra movement speed, Malthael keeping things a little bit in their favor, and that means that in the bottom lane, the pressure from 4 members of ReGen Rebel able to get them up to that wall. Murda entirely by himself does have the phase shift coming in, so now it's 4v4, but Styx is pretty low as well, so is Shives. So really everybody on Nebula in a little bit of a dangerous place. Big stun coming out after the root, and that's going to be first blood of Towers of Doom. IT Cowboy going in for the stall, both teams getting one shot onto the enemy core. So he gets the stall for a moment, had a drag out onto Jaina, but was entirely isolated, so couldn't really stay there for too long. But it's early in this game, and as long as you have a point on your core, the opportunities are there. We're going to follow this matchup for a moment here, and this is where Dahaka wins that mobility race. There is when they're not mounted, Malthael just can't keep up. He doesn't have that movement speed. He doesn't have the Fear of the Reaper to be able to stay on top of Dahaka, other than using his little quick teleport. And Dahaka, with that enhanced agility, just goes through a bush and is going to get a bunch of movement speed. Both teams picking up their bottom siege camps once again. We'll see if Rebel's able to connect with these sappers. One, did it get stopped? Did they get stopped? I think one got through. Yeah, 2 of them got stopped, 1 of them got through. Sylvanas making it there to stall them out. All of Nebula's sappers are going to be taken out, and 1 sapper is going to make it through to the fort. So a little bit of damage onto the fort. 4v4 here in the bottom. Murden jumping in. Does get a stun out onto the Junkrat, but not enough damage there to be able to finish the job. Murden getting knocked back with the concussion mine, and another kill out onto Murda there. And this is an unfortunate time because these altars are just about to come up, and not having their tank, it's going to make it a little bit difficult. But you know what? I mean, Rebel just had 2 people, no, just 1 person go back to fill up. So it might not actually be that bad. Dahaka can still dig down with his Brush Stalker, so he can get here very quickly. Styx is going to be able to stall that one out. Brightwing's going to get the channel. I honestly wouldn't have thought they were going to get any, but they've already gotten one, and they're going to put up a fight for the second one here. So ID Cowboy making use of his essence to keep nice and healthy. Big stun coming out onto the Blaze, I think it was. But the Leap of Faith pulling him out. In the backline, Meow Meow, however, trying to stay alive with the polymorph, but all that damage coming out from his trait absolutely just shredding the frontliners, and that's going to give then ReGen Rebel now the opportunity to channel the second. So staying a little bit ahead in the overall points, one altar because of the uneven number at the first set, but we're still in a very even game from a point standpoint. That said, the XP definitely in favor of Rebel. 4 kills to none, and not only the kill XP, but also being able to get the extra minions, and potentially if they can get this fort, it would be really valuable. Sylvanas? I was going to say, Sylvanas was looking like she was going to try to come in from behind, but that's super questionable at this point. Having level 10, getting those ultimate abilities changes the game significantly, and now that they have it, okay. So it's even, other than just that little bit of XP for the extra health. Watermont is coming out. Chastise does not land. Murden does not want to give up the camp. Is going to go ahead and pop Avatar. NA arrow coming from the Hanzo, but you know what? That scatter arrow is going to take out the Jaina, so works out in their favor. So far, that looks to be maybe about it, but Murden's on the hunt, trying to see if they can't find one more. The camp, however, was picked up by ReGen Rebel, so a little bit of a trade. They lost a hero, they picked up the siege camp, and here comes a Riptire. It's going to get deleted, so no damage from that. As Nebula just trying to make sure that the pumpkin sappers don't make it through and do any more structure damage to this bottom fort. Murden trying to get the trap there to hit one of the minions, I think. Doing a good job of pulling them away, making it so that the team doesn't have to worry about that trap in an awkward place. Murden's going to go in, throws out the stun, does not land, however, pulls off Anduin from channeling. Gets stunned himself as well, as Dahaka's going to go in with that isolation. They're going to get the pull out onto Meow Meow Cats. Light Bomb's going to go out, but it's not going to land because they pulled him out. Here comes the Dragon's Arrow for a big stun, and Meow Meow's going to go down. Can they get the stall out onto Lunatic, though? Not quite. Double stun, looking for the Jaina. They get the stun and the slow, but Murden having to pop Avatar, pulling out. 1 for 1 is Blaze and Brightwing going to go down. Make it 2 for 1. 3 for 1, I guess, technically, because of the death earlier, as Jaina's also going to go down. But overall, even though Nebula is now catching up in XP, they are behind in the points because 4 more points went over in favor of Rebel. So 24 to 32. Murda doesn't have a whole lot of mana, so he's in a position where he can't really get any kills. If he jumps in, he doesn't have enough for a stun. And I think that's what he was kind of looking for, was he was going to try to see if he could get that jump slow comboed with the stun, but just didn't have enough in the tank to be able to make that happen. I don't think that the... Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I was going to try to pull up some other stats, but I was pretty sure that was part of that overlay. So Brightwing's coming in, gets the polymorph out onto the Malthael. Malthael pretty much just toast. Nothing that can really be done about that. The question now is, can Nebula get down here to be able to do anything with the advantage that they have? They go over the wall, and it looks like they're going to be able to pick up the pumpkin sappers pretty quickly. Can they get there before these make it through? Keep in mind, Brightwing can phase shift up to Dahaka, so they can get both of those altars up top quickly, but not if Dahaka's the only one there, and everybody from the blue team is on the hunt. So Dahaka's going to head back to safety. Gets the pull out onto Blaze, so pulling him deeper in. Jaina's going for it, and this is not a great place. There's a wailing arrow out onto Jaina to make sure she can't ice block. I don't even know if she has it at the moment. Isolation going out onto Blaze. The altar was picked up for Rebel, so they got those 4 points, and now Shive's going to pick up 4 points for Nebula as well. So 1 altar per side, 4 points each. Slight advantage to Rebel currently, 28 to 20. But the momentum is kind of, it's still kind of even maybe slightly in favor of Nebula at this point. Swinging in that direction. Oh, that jet propulsion was so, if that was any closer, Shives gets stunned and maybe they can make some, I don't know if they can do enough damage to kill that Sylvanas, but certainly put him in a threatened position. But because of the miss, Nebula able to take out that tower. So now they're pretty close to even in this bottom lane. Up in the mid lane, not so even. One tower down on the right. Top lane, pretty even. Murden going in, looking for the stun. Does get a stun out onto the Anduin. And with that poly, able to secure that kill. Looking for more here. They're trying to get the Blaze. Blaze is going to pop the Unstoppable with his Pyromania. Is able to jet propulsion out just barely, but not enough. Murda had that stun with the Stormbolt, and it was just a little bit closer. Just close enough. Just a little bit closer than that jet propulsion that was missed earlier. Lunatic, though, is going to get taken out. Sylvanas going in heavy. Shuts down the tower. Says, listen, you don't get to hide behind this structure. It's done. Gets a double kill out onto Junkrat and Jaina. Holy smokes. We saw Styx last game coming up with those big kills. Let's take a look here. Shives playing that Sylvanas, getting everywhere they need to be, and getting those kills. Dahaka's going to pick up 4 points over here. Brightwing got 4 down here, and now a triple altar phase going in the hands of ReGen Nebula is going to give them the swing and the momentum heavily in their favor, especially now with this bottom tower. 15 points, putting them up by 7, 20-13. Dahaka able to pick up that top camp just a little bit before the Malthael makes it there. I'm not sure this is a 1v1 the Malthael wants to have, especially with the siege camp there. Throwing extra, oh, the isolation just missing. Amps will go in now bottom lane here. So these siege camp minions, since they don't have a structure to go against, if they make it past this blue line of death, they take a point off. Well, Anduin's going to get caught by a double stun there. Murden with the initial stun, follow-up from the Dragon Arrow is going to give Nebula one more kill. A slow out from Murda. Is it enough to get that last kill out onto the... Oh, the Junkrat and Shives going in deep to secure the kill. Will pay the price. And no sappers left for points. But 3 more coming in a moment. Dahaka able to pick up these 3. And we've got another altar coming up. This is potentially currently 5 points in the hands of Nebula, 3 points for Rebel. With 20 seconds until Junkrat, it's going to be difficult for Rebel to get there. Now, Cawthon, I was going to say, if Cawthon gets taken out here, they definitely don't get it. And not only that, but they may lose the boss as well at that point, or even the other 2 forts. Because there might have been enough time for that. Cawthon is not going to make it. That's 1 point through, 2 points through, over onto the core. So that, I'm sorry, 3 points through. They actually got all 3 of them through. That's another 5 from the altar thanks to that tower. So 5 points left. The boss is not enough by itself because it always provides 4 points. So really, Nebula at this point trying to figure out what do we do. And I was going to say the bottom lane is really what you need to do. You got to be there to keep that defense. Leap of Faith is going to come out for Junkrat. Might be enough. Holy cow, that was close. Shives once again not respecting the death zone. Says, I don't care. I can take you out wherever you are on this map. I will find you and I will kill you. Once again, in the bottom lane, here's Murda looking for that Junkrat. Does get the slow. Gets rooted himself. Polymorph coming out. Stun coming out. Jet Propulsion is going to come in. Is going to stun the Murda, but there just wasn't enough. Junkrat going to be taken out. With 5 points left, Nebula looking for some way that they can potentially end this game. And this is it right here. This altar, which is going to be coming up probably in about 30 seconds, I'm guessing. Okay, 33 seconds. Murda going in. Jet Propulsion is going to be able to get Blaze out. And this is starting to look a bit like a checkmate scenario, because that altar ends the game. It's 5 points. Rebel doesn't have a clear path to get there. They have to take this long way going through here. And Nebula knows that, so they're setting up. They just need to keep, I mean, really, they just need Brightwing to stay there. If they leave Brightwing there, they win the game. But they want to get those kills. So Anduin's going to get caught, taken out there. Jaina's going to get taken out in a moment after that ice block. Coffin going down as well. Meow Meow Cat's doing what Meow Meow Cats can, but it's just not enough to take 1v5. And that's it. We did get some sappers to go through for 3 more points off the core. And there you go, everybody. ReGen Nebula finishing the job on Towers of Doom, getting themselves a 2-1 victory over ReGen Rebel. Alrighty, so we've got a special treat for you on our interview, because my understanding is we're going to have both captains, because it's not normally both captains, but tonight it's going to be both captains. It's a ReGen extravaganza, so, you know, why not? Have an interview with all of your friends. It's good times, you know? Oh, you know what? I don't know that I fixed that. Hold on, let me double check and make sure. I don't think I fixed the... Oh man, that is no bueno. Let's see if I can fix it now. The overlay is all kinds of screwed on the interview page. So 1 second, let's see if I can fix it real quick. I don't remember the settings I have, darn it. Whoa. I think that's okay. Okay, let's see. ReGen. All right, I'm here with Murda. Let's see if you come through, if I screwed something up. Murda, are you there?
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
That appears to be coming through. So we're gonna go with yes.
All right. All right.
Murda, it's great to have you here. It's been a long time since we've had the opportunity to have a chat, and it's after your team wins a big win. So how's the team feeling after this?
It's always fun to play against another ReGen, so let's say that first and foremost. They were outstanding tonight. I think the coolest part was both teams got their full rosters in between the 3 games, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys really put me through the works on that, trying to double check in between each game. Okay, who's playing and who's swapped out for this and all that stuff. I think there were 2 people in the second game for one team and 1 or 2 for the other team. It was quite a bit of work to keep up with everybody, but that's fantastic, getting your full rosters in.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Rebel played out of their beaks today. It was a fun one. All 3 games really were so close. Game 1, they kind of handed it to us, right?
They sure did. You know, they really did a fantastic job in game number 1 of, you know, controlling the map, doing what they needed to do to layer their CCs. It looked very difficult for you guys in that first game, and it was a, you know, little concerning going into game 2, wondering how that was going to turn out. But you guys ended up, you know, really swinging that momentum into your favor on game 2.
Yeah, what a job by Coffin. I think I've said this in an interview before, that his ETC is so tremendous. And I think game 2, we saw Taco in the game, and I wasn't playing in that one, but Krama banned out the May. I think that's
Yeah.
a mistake. I think you gotta ban out the ETC, assuming Cawthon's going to be tanking. But yeah, my God, what a great outstanding play from the ETC. And I thought both games we saw the Junkrat from them as well. Game 1 it was Pat, Game 3 was Lunatic, and the Junkrats. So good for ReGen Rebel.
Yeah, that game 1, you know, the game winning play was the 4-man mosh underneath the rag fort, which is like that's like a mind-blowing level of timing and play, because Rag had just thrown out his Q, so he couldn't stun. It might have even been just slightly out of range, but got everybody else in that play and ended the game. Obviously, it wasn't just that moment that was in their favor, because the game was going in their favor, you know, leading up to that. But that was really the exclamation mark that gave him that moment to finish the game.
Hopefully someone highlighted it on your channel. I'm sure it was a great call from you. All I know is Styxa was like, damn pathing, it got me. Ah! He was screaming. It was a fun game though. They played so well because they were able to knock some gems off of us multiple times. We really couldn't get an engage going. Again, I think credit to the ETC, just kind of kept us in check. Every time we wanted to engage, it was a big face melt, knocking us out, and Diablo was having a hell of a time trying to get in there. We didn't really sync up the charge with the light bomb all that well either. I'm not much of a healer, but here I was in game 1 healing because Karama was out bowling. It was fun though. Game 1 was a good one.
It definitely, you could definitely see a little bit of the timing not quite lining up for you guys. Like there was one time that Diablo was trying to shadow charge out but got leaped out and then shadow charged in because of the Q,
yeah.
right?
It looked like a bug of some sort. He's like, I guess I was queuing when you pulled me and then it threw me back. Yep. At least he lived. I don't think he died there, right?
He did not die, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that's just a thing with Leap of Faith. If the person you're pulling out is doing one of those movement abilities and they're trying to do it at that same time you do Leap of Faith, it happens all the time.
Yep.
Because I've done it with there's something else with Garrosh's ability. It's like, you know, the taunt. I think that's what it was. I've tried to do taunts before, get leaped out, and then I taunt in the middle of my own team, and it's like, well, that's fun. Thanks. But you know, you mentioned Styxa in game number 1, but game number 2, like, let's throw some credit over there, because that Li Ming play at the end of the game, like, it was starting to look a little bit questionable for just a brief moment when Thrall got taken out, but then everything just started hitting. It was like Styxa, because Styxa was on Li Ming, correct? I'm not.
Oh yeah. And I think he's the best Li Ming in our division. We don't get to play it much. It doesn't fit in a lot of our drafts. And you know, sometimes teams are picking it. We don't have an opportunity to take it. But yeah, he loves Li Ming. It's been one of the heroes he's played for years, and getting to see him shine today was a pleasure.
Well, it was absolutely fantastic. You know, that game was very back and forth, really up until that moment, because even though you guys had really taken the momentum at that point, you know, you'd lost 2 people on the push, which was still really a very favorable trade because you got both of those keeps. But then losing Thrall, having that staggered death, was starting to maybe look like it could have been a challenge, especially with already having 1 fort down. But Styxa just basically saying, whatever, guys, I'm going to win this game for us right now.
Listen, Arrow,
everybody.
You can't say anything bad about IT Cowboy today. It's his birthday, okay?
Oh, happy birthday, IT Cowboy.
Yeah, no, I was kind of like, all right, give that fort, no reason to fight. And then Thrall was up there, he got killed, and I was like, bruh. But Styxa saved the day. I actually said to him, I'm like, hey, you need to like send them a thank you card for saving that game because you almost threw it.
Right. Well, then you get to game 3, Towers of Doom. I don't know if they heard me, because I was like, oh, I hope they go to Towers of Doom for game 3, because I love game 3 Towers of Doom. As I say every single time people play Towers of Doom. And this was I loved both of the drafts. A lot of poke potential, and you know, I could clearly see that this bottom lane was going to be the absolute battleground. There wasn't going to be a ton of rotation between mid and bot. It was going to be bot, and that's what it was. And it looked like the early game was kind of leaning in their favor. They started off ahead in the points. They started off getting, you know, a little bit more structure damage than you guys, and then around level 10, 13, somewhere, I think it was 13, that things started to kind of swing into your favor. So how did the game change, and how did you guys really maneuver yourselves to get that swing of momentum and then ultimately, finish the game?
Well, first off, I was playing Muradin. Muradin gets pretty strong around level 13. Bronzebeard Rage, baby. So I was just jumping. I was like, listen, I'm not letting Jaina, Anduin, Junkrat, these squishies do anything to us. I'm jumping in their face. If Blaze is going to be a problem, he'll be a problem. But I'm not going to let Junkrat continue to just throw traps at us, boop us around. I was just trying to jump on him and Anduin as much as I could. We got a few kills with it. The CC behind it was great. Stixa, I think, throwing out a few of those Dragon Strike arrows, whatever the heck it's called, with Hanzo. It was good follow-up. A few of them I think we could have been a bit cleaner. We need to be cleaner in the playoffs. But yeah, it swinged around. We had a few other heroes get some power spikes around then as well. But it was a fun game, and I think we were able to adjust. I think, again, taking out the ETC was paramount. We didn't want to play against Cawthon's ETC for a third game in a row. It was so good, and the scouting report showed Muradin might be number 2 for him, and I'm pretty comfortable on Muradin. It's Muradin, baby.
Exactly. Well, in the swing moment, like the moment that game very much went into your hands was right before that third altar or triple altar phase, the 5th altar phase, where you start to push in on that bottom fort, and out of nowhere, if Stixa was the game 2 hero, Shives straight up shuts down the tower, walks in, says, I'm gonna kill Junkrat, I'm gonna kill, I think Anduin was the other one there, and then we're gonna take this tower and we're just gonna win the game from that point. Like, we're never gonna lose control. You keep going back, you're finding the Junkrat whenever he's trying to poke down things and keep the pressure on. You're finding the Anduin. Shives goes into the death zone, says, no, you don't get to get away from me there either. Like, just absolutely playing everywhere on the map all at once, and that was kind of that swing moment for when you just completely took control, and it was fantastic to see.
Yeah,
so,
well, he was a little sad afterward. His comment was, "Damn, I could have used my unstoppable there and maybe lived." So he gets a 95, 5 more points, and if he would have used that unstop. Yeah, it was great. He has a habit of just kind of shutting down the tower without letting us know until it's like already happening. But he did a good job. We felt confident on that map with the Sylve. We love her there. I think it's one of her better map. Get a lot of control. You can even take Merc Queen and get some big sappers going if you want. But yeah, he's able to kind of do those sorts of things, get in on the back line and play aggressive, shutting down the towers when we need it, and he definitely, I think, Game 3 MVP, like you said.
Well, the thing that I really enjoyed about the whole series is that while there were some definite big plays like the ones we just talked about with Li Ming and Sylvanas earlier in Game 1 ETC, really there were a ton of opportunities for people to showcase just being consistent, right? The throws and the polymorphs, the stun, the polymorphs on your team, the combos in Game 1, especially coming out from Rebel, really everybody had a chance to show off the, maybe not the big flashy plays, but in many cases the consistent plays that you need to be able to participate in a competitive environment.
Absolutely, and kind of harping back to what I said earlier, like both teams getting to bring in their full roster tonight. Not only was it a full roster, we got to see guys playing multiple roles as well, which I think is pretty special. I know you've been a part of the ReGen family for a long time yourself, Arrow, but it's just a lot of fun to see players grow, have fun, and hopefully for my team we do well in the playoffs. Hopefully for Rebel, they're thinking about how they can continue to improve, because they've been improving season after season, moving all the way from Div E, now they're in Div C, and they played pretty darn well. I mean, look at how they played tonight. This is a team that is going to start making waves more and more if they continue playing together.
Absolutely. And I believe it was season 5 that I originally joined ReGen. Season 6 when I actually played as a primary. And of course, I'm wearing my Division C Grand Champion shirts tonight, which I have not mentioned until this very moment, just in case the opportunity came up. But I mean, what do you think, Murda? Do you guys have a shot?
Well, we did beat the #1 team. We were undefeated the entire season. We only dropped one match, and it was last week to Brick House. We're a little salty about it, but they're great people. We love them. No ill will, but we're circling the semifinal matchup. Likely going to be against Brick House, the #2 versus the #3. And if we're fortunate enough to make it to that match, we're going to try to come with a new strategy against them. And yeah, we're trying to make a run at it, Arrow. We want to be the next ones having those T-shirts on our backs.
Right on. Well, I hope that you get there. I hope that you make it all the way through and that you get those shirts. Any shout outs that you'd like to throw out?
Yeah, shout outs to all the moms out there, of course. I get yelled at if I don't do that. Arrow for being a fantastic caster. I'm sure this was one of the best casts of the entire season out of any NGS match. So if you're in chat right now, show Arrow some love. He deserves it. Shout out again to Rebel. Outstanding season. Excited to see where you guys go next. For my team, it's a shout out for our coach Frosty. Does a lot to help us. It's a thankless job at times, but he at least gets a shout out here. And my team, hopefully you're ready for the playoffs. We have a hell of a lot left to do and a lot to prove to this division.
Right on. Murda, thanks so much for joining me and just putting on a really great show tonight. It was an absolute pleasure, and I wish you all the best in your playoff run.
The pleasure is mine, Arrow. Have a great night.
Yeah, and hey, keep me posted if times and days line up. I certainly am happy to try to pick up some playoff casts for you guys.
Hoping for Thursday nights, if at all possible, but I will let you know.
Cool, sounds good. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, I'll see ya.
See ya. All right. Well, that was Murda, the founder of the ReGen organization, and I believe the captain of ReGen Nebula. He certainly was before. I don't have any reason to believe he's not now. Yeah, 2-1 victory here for ReGen Nebula over ReGen Rebel. And what a fun cast this was tonight. What a match. Just absolutely great plays. Some highlight moments. If anybody clipped any of those, please feel free to I don't think you can post them in chat, but please make sure that you do post them in the NGS Discord. Or in the ReGen Discord. And let's go ahead and see if there's anybody online. Let's see if there's anything going on. It doesn't show anything here. Let's check the calendar real quick. Just see if anybody else is playing tonight. Thursday. Wow, there are no casts. Holy smokes. We're the only cast tonight, you guys. That's nuts. All right, well, you know what then, folks? Let's see what we got elsewhere on Twitch. Let's see. I know who we'll go to. So we're gonna go to Alicia Wins, a Heroes of the Storm streamer. She's played some other games. She was playing Diablo 4 during the oh wait, change of plans. I just saw who else was online. We're gonna go see my good buddy Recyclic, another ReGen buddy of mine. He is playing a game that I've never heard of, Heroes of Hammerwatch. So we're gonna go see him. Thanks everybody for joining us in this cast tonight. It's been fantastic. I appreciate you being here. Make sure, if you haven't already done so, to hit the follow button. I don't stream that often, but I am going to be streaming a little bit more often, kind of now that my computer's back into a place it can do it. So, I'd love to see you come back. All right. Thanks again. Have a good one, and we'll see you soon.